Hi, I'm Karen Wright, founder of Parachute Executive Coaching, and this is another in our series of short videos intended to let prospective clients get to know the coaches on our team a little bit. And today we are here with Michael Rossi. Hi, Michael.
Hello, how are you, Karen?
I'm good. Nice to see you.
You too.
How long have you been a Parachute associate?
I guess I'm just over a year now.
And how's your experience been so far?
It's been amazing. It is, being a relatively new coach, it has been amazing to have this community of energetic, wise, generous, and really diverse coaches that I can tap into for advice and just sometimes for, a pick me up and some energy on a day when I need it. But it's awesome.
Yeah, there's no shortage of energy, that's for sure. And a little craziness. So you mentioned that you're a relatively newer coach. Can you just give us a little bit of that background, a little bit of that story? Where'd you come from and how did you get here?
Yeah, I came from 25 years of corporate experience, primarily in the sports business world. So I spent time with the NHL, with Reebok, and call it the Adidas group of brands and companies. And I was there for the last 18 years until last spring. And I'm always one who's kind of big on milestones. So as I got to 15 years with the company and 5 years as president of Adidas in Canada, I started thinking about what could be next. You, in fact, were one of my early conversations when I started to hear about coaching, get curious about what it could mean. And that kind of led to a couple of years of working towards certification, education, and becoming a coach. So here I am.
And we are delighted to have you. Why this work? Why are you a coach? What is it about this that matters to you?
It's funny when I explain this to another coach, I think they get it. I guess the best way to explain it is I think life is just this wonderful gift that we have. And I think each individual has something inside them that they're hoping to unlock, uncover, let loose. And it really, on the one hand, it excites me to think that I could help someone do that and discover it. And it feels really sad to think someone might, for whatever reason, not let that shine. And so when you actually, as a coach, have the chance to work with someone and they do the work, I mean, we're there to sort of witness and guide, but when you see them take a step towards that thing that they want for themselves, there's nothing like it. There is no feeling like it in the world. And to be able to do that as your work, it's amazing. I love it. So that's why the work matters to me.
I love that. And I completely agree. And I mean, people often ask me, why I still do so much one-on-one coaching, why I've been doing this so long. And it's because it is the most fulfilling, energizing, varied work I can imagine doing. It's like no 2 days are the same, no two conversations are the same. And there's always something emerging or growing or something very fun happening. So yeah, what's not to love, right?
Absolutely.
So what's unique about your approach to coaching? I mean, I know having done this work for so long, every coach, no matter where they've been trained, even people who've been trained by the same organization, there's something different about how they show up as a coach. So how would you describe you, or what feedback have you been given by clients?
I think, my background is unique and has given me a perspective that I think a lot of my clients gravitate towards and enjoy. Having spent time in the corporate world, I can relate to a lot of the challenges, stresses, emotions. And, it is lonely as an executive. And I think, I went through it when I became president. You don't have the same peer network. You can't share things with the same people that you used to. And so I think a lot of clients really appreciate that background and understanding that I bring. And then I think going along with that, many clients are wrestling with some powerful change they're trying to create in life.
Mhm.
And so I think when they look at the fact that I left a role that I loved and that I enjoyed to try something totally new, I think that creates a connection as well. And, the best thing about a great coaching relationship is connection. And
Mm.
so when a client feels like, hey, you know what, he's got a perspective or done something unique that I'm curious about, and maybe he's, got an understanding he can share, it just kind of sets us on a nice path to begin with. And then then from there, I would say curiosity and empathy. Those are the words I hear back from clients quite a bit about my style and what they feel. And that just kind of takes over, and we go from there, because ultimately my experience is never going to be replicated with the client. They're going on their own journey. So it's a nice way to start. It's a good foundation, but then we have some fun and just get to explore where they're headed.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, I do know that when we get inbound requests for coaching, clients are always really excited to understand that all of the coaches on our team have worked in corporate in some form at some point, because it really feels like, well, maybe we really do understand them. We've walked in their shoes to some degree. But the idea that people might be drawn to the fact that you made a big change, a big leap. I've had that feedback myself. There was a client years ago who I interviewed with him, and he asked me all sorts of questions, and I'm an open book when I'm being interviewed. And at the end of it, he said, "You're hired. Do you want to know why?" And I said, "Sure." And he said, "Because I want what you've got." And in that moment, he was referring to the fact that I had work that I loved, and that I never pretend to have everything all figured out, but I do try to have it pointed in the right direction most of the time. And it was that sense of sort of alignment and purpose that he was really seeing in me. And that was what he wanted some of. So that was really gratifying. So I can relate to that connection piece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So I know you're, oh, good.
I was going to say that, that sense of purpose, like no two journeys are the same. And so it's never that someone will choose you as a coach because they want exactly what you have. Right. Or it's unlikely that's the case, but just that idea that, everyone's got that sort of burning thing inside them that they're like, I think I could actually do this and I could actually create this, but I might need some help, or I just need to figure out how to get over the hump and get there. And that's the magic when you get to those conversations.
Absolutely. So again, I know you said you're a relatively new coach, and I know from my own experience that the first few years are a learning curve that's kind of like this. I'm curious, in addition to just gathering the experience of doing the work, what do you do to ensure that you kind of stay on track with your own growth and development as a coach, as a human?
It's funny, I think over the years, anytime I did assessments, if there was an element around learning and growth, I was always off the charts with that. And so it sort of comes naturally to me that, in fact, that's one of the things I think you and I spoke about in this past year. I had to resist the urge to sign up for like every certification, every tool. Because you actually, it's great to learn new things, but then you need some time to try them, to learn, to fine tune, to master. And so I've been sort of resisting the temptation to get a ton of them. Mm-hmm. But I would say like I am naturally curious. So, I love to read. I read articles, I read books. I love to have conversations, not just with other coaches, but, it's interesting to talk to a therapist or someone from another discipline and understand their approach and see how they fit. So I think I'm a lifelong learner. I'll never get bored with what's next. I am part of ICF. I'm a member of ICF. And so just attending different conferences, sitting in on different sessions, having conversations with other coaches to learn how they approach things. And our group is a fantastic resource for that and a forum for that discussion. So that it excites me that I just need to pace myself because there's no shortage of things to learn to stay fresh. And there's lots of time to do it.
Yeah, a friend of mine likes to say there's a lot to know.
Indeed.
And we just probably can't get it all done. So picking and choosing is definitely important. And again, back to, why have I been doing this work for so long? Because I'm learning something every single day, whether it's sort of by absorption or by intention. I am learning something every day. So it's not dull.
For
so
sure.
What else would you like us to know about you?
You know what, I think in terms of what a potential client might want to know, one of the learnings I had was I enjoy humor. I have a sense of humor. And at first I struggled to figure out how to bring that into my coaching. I felt like I needed to be really sort of serious and professional. And, the reality is we're all human. And I have now found that humor and that authenticity, when I just let it come through, it creates connection. It opens up dialogue. It lets the client let their guard down and be themselves. And so I would say the experience a client's going to get is a warm, real human being. You know, I've got dogs who bark in the background just like anyone else. So I think all of that is part of what makes me unique. And then I love metaphors. So, you know, I think that's sometimes one of my favorite things when I'm listening to a conversation with a client and trying to frame it up. And I hit on that creative way of framing it through metaphor. And you just feel that click, like things have just shifted. Client sees something in a new way and it kind of sets them on their way and propels them forward. I love that. And so I am prone to using lots of different visuals and metaphors,
I like
but
it.
I think they're super powerful and fun to play with.
All right. So on that basis, I'm going to hit you with a curveball because we didn't talk about this ahead of time. But knowing what I know about some of your personal interests, I'm going to close with, how is coaching like a fine glass of red wine?
Uh, I would say, I mean, it changes over time, it evolves over time. Um, and you appreciate different things with each sip. So, you know, that first smell that you get, that first impression is one thing. But then as you sort of let it breathe, different things come to the surface and emerge. And yeah, it's just a great experience all the way through from start to finish.
Love it. Thank you so much. It's just a delight to have you as part of the team.
Thanks, Karen. It's great to be part of the team.